The Aqua Hot that we use in our coaches, the 450, the 400, or the 250, are all designed as a boiler, water heater, and furnace. So what this does is it takes propylene glycol antifreeze, heats that up, and we circulate that throughout the coach. That provides us with our hot water and with our heating purposes. So you'll notice throughout your coach you probably have small little registers that are down right next to the floor. Those are our heat registers, or heat exchangers we call those, for the Aqua Hot. So this Aqua Hot actually operates with propylene glycol antifreeze at a 50-50 mixture. 50% propylene glycol and 50% water. Make sure you're only using distilled water in that system as well. That is key. It does have some parameters that we like to talk about and go over, so we can discuss some of those. Our water, continuous hot water demand, and this is a demand system, so it's not storing water in it, but it is capable of providing 1.5 gallons per minute continuous of hot water. So make sure we keep our flow rate at that 1.5 gallons per minute. Secondly, it is only capable of doing a 55-degree water rise. So when you're asking for hot water, you need to take into consideration what your groundwater temperature is. For example, if your groundwater temperature is 50 degrees, you're looking at a 55-degree rise, which is only going to give you 105 degrees of hot water, which is probably warm enough for most of us. Maybe some of you may think a little bit different, but you can always get that a little bit warmer if you needed it. So the next thing is the operating temperature of the Aqua Hot. The Aqua Hot actually will maintain its temperature between 155 and 185 degrees. So what that means is the interior temperature of that boiler antifreeze. This is one thing we warn customers about. Don't just go grabbing those hoses or touching the outside of that Aqua Hot, because those hoses will have propylene glycol boiler antifreeze flowing through them at 185 degrees. So be careful at that point. Now, something that people ask us about all the time, what kind of fuel consumption are we using? So we've used two different models in the past. We used a 400 LP. Currently we're using everything diesel. So as we look at those specs, it simply goes like this. The propane is using 0.7 gallons per hour. That's continuous duty. And the diesel is using 0.4 gallons per hour of continuous duty. So ask yourself this question: have you ever been in a situation when your Aqua Hot runs for a continuous hour? I would think not, and probably be safe to say most of you have not seen it run for an hour. It basically takes, here in Indiana in the wintertime we're testing it, it can take us around 17 minutes to achieve tank temperature. So we're using that as an average of what that might run at any given time to create or achieve tank temperature. So the way that works in our coaches for heating is that we have 3 different zones set up, including the basement that makes our 4th zone. So just a little overview, we can show you this slide that gives you that path of where that fluid goes and where all those heat exchangers are located in your coach. Now this may vary floor plan to floor plan. I believe that the slide we're going to show you is that of a 44W. Your coach within those zones are also equipped with in-floor heating. This would apply to the Aspire, the Anthem, and the Cornerstone. So this in-floor heating shown on the slide is showing you exactly where that water line goes. Again, this floor plan is going to be of a 44W, but you can see clearly where that water line goes. Now expect this when you're using that floor heat, that within just a few minutes you'd be able to feel these hot spots of where that line is. And it will take, we usually say within hours, a couple hours or so, it will take that to be more radiant heat around the floor. You get into a time period of about 12 to 14, maybe even 16 hours, depending on your outside temperature, you're going to have even heat with that floor heat throughout the entire coach, front to back, side to side, and we usually give it plus or minus 3 or 4 degrees.
Is there any maintenance recommended for the Aqua Hot?
There is, and this all depends on what you're using, whether it's the diesel or the LP. So if you have the 400 LP, you can consider yourself lucky. There is absolutely zero maintenance to that. We've seen it over the years. A time or two we've had to go in and clean out a flame sensor, but that's about it. But on the diesel, you're looking at a yearly maintenance. We say it's annual. Diesel's kind of one of those things that if you don't use it, it's going to sit there and gel up and gum up. You guys probably know that from your engines or anything else you have that's diesel. So that is an annual maintenance. Aqua Hot offers a maintenance kit that you can purchase that includes the fuel nozzle and concentrated boiler antifreeze, and also a refractometer so you can test your mixture between antifreeze and water. It will also include a fuel filter. So those are the things that you need to be doing on that annual maintenance: the fuel filter, the nozzle, and obviously checking your mixture of propylene glycol.
Is it necessary that we need to winterize our Aqua Hot?
That is a great question. We get this a lot, and here's the actual answer that you'll want to hear. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, yes, the Aqua Hot needs to be winterized. So here's the reason we're going to tell you you need to winterize that Aqua Hot. The hot water line inside the Aqua Hot consists of a 43-foot loop of 1/2-inch copper tubing. That is a horizontal loop, so it's impossible for us to get all of the water out of the bottom of that, even if you properly winterize your coach based on our owner's manual and our user guide, which explains how you can blow those lines out, and then obviously running the antifreeze through them as well. So we want to make sure that you are winterizing that because we cannot get all the water out of it. What you want to do is just follow those instructions in our owner's manual of winterizing your unit. One thing we want you to make sure is you confirm you have pink RV antifreeze coming out your hot water side of your faucets. That will give us an assurance that you've actually gotten that antifreeze completely through the Aqua Hot system itself.